Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to the Naughties. Certainly one of the decades of all time, to say the least. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have entered the third millennium, the 21st century, and this was a decade that was revolutionary with new technology, new shows, new music, and believe it or not, this is probably one of those decades where I would say I'd have the more. This is sort of a little bit more area because I was a kid growing up in the 2000s, and it's phenomenal actually. The more I think about like everything I went through and the way I learned about what I went through it's the sort of thing. It's part of what makes you realize you've lived a life. And that's probably one of the most crucial things of them all, because living is what living is for. Whatever that's supposed to mean. But now we've put that aside, that very brief sort of opening, it's time we got to work as usual. So you may remember a few years ago, I covered the very first album by 3 Days Grace. And it was essentially an album which, insofar I was concerned and discovered about, was a lot about conflicting and toxic relationships, mostly confined to our guy's drug addiction and the subsequent fallout he was having from the world around him. Feeling like you're drowning, feeling like you are still superior, and feeling as though that no matter where you go, this is not my home, and I think I'm better off alone. That's kind of... I don't want to say that's always been like the mission statement whenever it comes to 3 Days Grace, because I'm sure there's a lot more to it, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting straight into their second album, released in 2006. This was also the year in which I broke my collarbone and my shoulder on the last day of school, and, well... whether or not it was also during July, I really couldn't tell you, but I can tell you that it's far from over. But let's get to it. So make sure to like and subscribe. So here we go. Hey.
Your bottle's almost empty. You know this can't go on. Because of you, my mind is...
I love the fact that I'm just going to turn this up just a little bit, but you know your bottle's almost empty. That's how we're beginning this. Good Lord. I think that's... what a provocative and striking beginning. It's almost like before the end of the first minute, it is the acknowledgement that you know fine well you can't go on living like this. It's challenging you with an ultimatum almost from the word go. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, it's good because sometimes you don't need to know what happened before. You just need to know what's happening right now. And I like that approach. I honestly, I really do.
Always racing. The needles breaking your skin. The scar is sinking in. And now your trip begins, but it's all over for. It's all over for you. For you. When you're on the edge and falling off, it's all over for Still you wonder why. And now you're dead inside. Still you wonder when you're on the edge and falling off.
Inside's over for you. It's all over. I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, and I know we're already starting off strong, but you know what? I'm just gonna say for the record, I already can tell you I love this album, and I know that's quite a very quick thing to say before before anything goes on, is that what I absolutely cannot understate when it comes to a lot of 3 Days Grace, and I spoke about this quite a lot when I was talking about the original 3 Days Grace's album, is that it's also hard to really put into words about the sort of people who probably were on the edge, because I know it's quite a huge thing when you think about it, about not only about the people who discovered this, but the people whose lives were made bearable because it was the realization that there were people out there who understood your grief, your pain, your confliction, your rage. And to have people who understood this is nourishing, nurturing, and extremely refreshing. Now, let me tell you something now, ladies and gentlemen, is that when I was going through a very difficult period in my life, when I was at university, I felt alone. I felt that there was nothing I could do, and I felt that everything was becoming difficult, and everybody around me was sort of not really concerned if I sank or swim or did it, or just sort of laid still and did nothing. And during this time, I listened to a lot of Drowning Pool. I listened to a lot of Disturbed. I listened to a lot of Stain. And I also listened to quite a lot of, well, it was about this time when I was really introduced to things like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Green Day, Nightwish, Opel, Volbeat, Epica. But also, I was almost reintroduced to things like Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance. Bands that are very, very good in their own right, but I also feel as if like it's almost epitomized so much of the difficult period I was having. But this cements it because, well, I'd say sometimes there are only two options. One, you can serve orders to quit and completely stop caring about life and just do whatever you do just because that's all you can think about at the time. Or you can put that bottle down, you can bend that needle, and you can set yourself straight. It's not all over, but it will be if you continue to just wallow through life and not really care. Because sometimes pessimism is sort of the drug I was under the influence when I was in my late teens and my early 20s. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's completely different. I've accepted what happened, but that doesn't mean to say that I cannot be happy for the rest of my life. Just because of yes, we all pay the consequences for the choices we make, but I don't necessarily believe that the choices I've made define me just because they were made. I feel like what is going to define me is what happens here and now, on what happens in the future. Because the future, I feel like almost like, and again, I'm sorry if I'm getting away from the song itself, because it presents the ideas that if this is the end of the road, then bear in mind, well, there were plenty of songs about that too. And to be honest, would you rather be lying dead in some crack den somewhere, or would you rather live to see another day just to listen to more 3 Days Grace? And with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys enjoyed It's All Over by 3 Days Grace, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.